I was born in 1918, which would make me 11 then, in 1929 when the Depression started. And my dad pitched a tent there, built a deck, so a foot and a half off the ground. And I think the tent must have been at least 12 by 14, 12 by 16. It was a big thing because our whole family lived in it, while my two uncles and my grandmother were living over in a two-car garage type building with a shed on the front of it for the kitchen. And so we lived in that tent. I don't remember how many years, but quite a while. And my little sister was born there, and so for a while there was the four of us, and then she was born, there was the five of us living in that tent. I didn't know we were poor. I knew we were living in a tent and other kids didn't, that sort of stuff. But that's the way life was, you know, and as long as we ate, and Mom made clothes and repaired clothes and that sort of stuff, and that's just the way it was, and you didn't really stop to think about, gosh, this is tough. Not as kids. Now, I know my mom and dad did, but I didn't as a kid.
We were poor. There were 7 of us, 7 children, and I was next to the last. And Mother was a great seamstress, and she made 4 girls, made all our clothes. And I remember this fellow was saying, we had flour sack clothing, underclothing, and Mother made those flour sack nightgowns, but ours weren't flowered. They were just the plain white flour sack nightgowns with colored, what do you call it, bias tape around here to give a little color to the nightgowns. But they were nicely made, and I wore those till I went to college. Mother was a good cook.
You had a big garden too.
A huge garden, and we all had to be part of the preserving the garden and canning and everything all summer, planting and coming home from school. A favorite thing was to go to the garden and pull up a carrot and go wash it in the cow's barrel where she got her water to drink, and chomping down on that big carrot. That was just heaven. That was wonderful. I can see that big, long, great, nicely shaped, because I had weeded the carrots so they were nice shaped, you know. But we were all a part of that whole garden, and I can see which rows were the beets, and it was all a part of our living. We didn't go play, we did the garden. And I would pick raspberries and take them down to the little corner grocery store, so he would give me 5 cents for this little cup of raspberries. So that was my first money I earned. I mean, that was big money. We had pigs. We had a big old sow she was prolific. She had 22 little piglets. So there was too many faucets she didn't have enough faucets, so we had to take care of the little pigs, and we'd raise those pigs and sell them so we could go to college. I mean, that's the way we got along. We sold the pigs to go to college.
That was 1938.
That was after the Depression.
Hmm?
That was after the Depression.
Not in Wenatchee, it wasn't. It was real late getting here, Bob. We got the brunt of it late, 5 or 6 years. I was looking for work, of course, and I applied at 63 different places. I kept a record on a notebook, and some of those places I had checked 3 different times. I went to 3 different times, 63 places. And there's just no job, and when I tell you about what the Daily World collections were like, there's no money. And so finally I had some training and I wanted to get some experience, and I said, well, I'll work for nothing. And because I want some experience, if nothing else. And they couldn't believe it, but they took me on. at $40 a month, which I didn't, they took me on for nothing. At the end of the month, I got a check for $40. And I just couldn't believe it. But they had, I guess I was worth $40 a month to them. So anyway, they paid me $40 that month, and the next month, and the next month. So that was my first job.
By the time I graduated, there wasn't any banks.
That's for my husband.
So I went to work for Goodfellow Brothers, taking care of their kids for 10 cents an hour. A lot of money at that time. And then in the fall of '35, after my second child was born, we lived in Cashmere. The fruit all froze in the fields. There was no apple. Packing sheds open that was a rough winter.
Today's people don't know how to make do. They don't even know what it means to make do. And we made do with whatever we had. You know, if you don't have what you want, you take what you've got and make something out of it. Whether it's taking a coat, turning it wrong side out, and making another coat out of the inside of the fabric, which we did.
We seem to be so wasteful nowadays, and they don't need to be wasteful. Be frugal. You can get along with so much less than you go to the store without a list and just buy stuff. And if you go with a list, that's what you walk out the store, you've got everything you needed, and that's it. You
And
don't
give
have
rid
to.
of credit cards.
Yes.
And that one term answers a lot of this greed that's taken place at the top of the business hierarchy in this country. Instant gratification. They want it now, and they want it immediately, they want all of it. And it's not possible, and of course that's going to create a real dislocation when it actually hits.